Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with the pilot of Lackadaisy. So, I don't know what this is, like, at all. In fact, I had not heard of it until Sweet Venom chose it as a donation reward. I know nothing about this. I don't know if I'm supposed to know anything about this. I don't know. I've heard like nothing. All I know is Sweet Venom chose to have me react to it, so I guess we'll see what it's about. I don't know what to expect at all. But it's about like just under 30 minutes. Which I feel is pretty standard for pilots from what we've seen. At least like if you want to compare to Has-Been Hotel. But yeah, I don't know what to expect. We're just gonna get into this. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the pilot. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I don't get it. I don't know how well this did or anything, so I can't say like what the public opinion is. But if other people like this, cool. I don't get it. I just So it's 20s Prohibition era. Everyone's a cat because just whatever. And they're trying to get, illegal illicit alcohol, Canadian whiskey for some reason. It's like, come on, at least get something good. And they get into a firefight and chase with someone. I don't entirely understand who they're supposed to be. Competitors or something, I guess? I don't know. But I don't get the appeal of it. Like, the animation is fantastic. The voice acting, great. The music is good. The sound design, all of that's great. I have no issue with that. I just don't understand the appeal of this. Maybe it's just that it doesn't really appeal to me. Maybe I'm just not into Prohibition era gun violent shows. But it's like nothing about it really struck me as being that great. Nothing about it struck me as being that interesting. It's like none of the characters hooked me in. Absolutely none of them. The main character, I don't remember any names, by the way. But the main character, he's just crazy, kind of weird, likes music. Yay. Nothing about him really, like, grips me. Nothing about him, like, invests me in his character. You have this other one who, I don't know, is his name Freckle or is it Babyface? It's like he's referred to by multiple things and I don't know what's what. But he's like very timid and everything, but then when he gets a gun, he turns into someone else, basically. He becomes psychotic and everything, and it's like, okay, because I've never seen that kind of idea before. And it's not even that interesting. It's like, yay. The idea that he becomes super psychotic and violent when he gets a gun. It's like, okay, so you're a person? You're like a normal person? Like, guns make people crazy. It's guns are terrible. We know this. And then the girl, like, does she have really anything else going for her? She's kind of naive and silly, but, like people complaining about Millie and Hell of a Boss not having a character, it's like, no, I'd say that's more this character. Like, she's just kind of the token female. And it's just like, I don't get it. The bad guys are just there, and they're just bad. Though the one guy with the glasses, I don't remember the name, but he seemed to like let them go at the end, and it's like, okay, so there's some history there. What's the reason? We have no idea like why he did that, and from everything we saw and from the fact that he was shooting at them before, he had no reason to do that. It just kind of feels like it came out of nowhere. Like they mentioned earlier on that there was something about his past, but it was never actually properly explained. It's just like, was there something about his past? That's basically it. The after credits scene with him talking to the guy on the phone, like I guess his boss, it's like, okay, was that supposed to mean something? So there's another big bad. Okay. And then it like over halfway through, almost all the near the end, it just suddenly brings in like this rich lady who lost her husband, I guess, and it's just like, okay, what is this about? And then there's all these bar patrons, and then the main characters come in, and it's like, oh, so they were doing this job for them or something, and it's like, I don't. It feels like a pilot. And not in the good way. It feels like a pilot in that it feels almost disjointed. Well, okay, not disjointed's the wrong word. It feels incomplete. It feels like there's a lot of context missing that we should have had in order to hook us in. Both for the characters and the story. It feels like there's just... things aren't as properly explained as they needed to be. Like, smooth animation isn't going to carry this for me. Good voice acting isn't going to carry this for me. I need more. I need, good plot, good characters. And it's just, I just don't feel like I got that here. It I guess, is like the pilot for Hell of a Boss rather than Has Been Hotel. And if you remember, I don't like the pilot for Hell of a Boss. I actually really hated it when I first saw it. I've loosened up a little bit on it since then, but I still don't like it. It's still my least favorite, quote-unquote, episode from Hell of a Boss. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. And it definitely doesn't live up to the actual show. And this kind of reminds me of that. It makes me think of the pilot of Hell of a Boss, and that's not a good thing. The pilot of Hell of a Boss was just as much a mess. Just as much, like, aimless. And the characters felt just as empty to me. Luckily, the main series of Hell of a Boss, like, improved upon that. But the pilot is still bad. In contrast, you have the pilot to Has Been Hotel, and that felt so full of life. The characters had so much personality and depth. They felt complete. You got the context you needed for the story and the characters. Everything fit. Everything fit. Everything made sense. you understood what was going on. It never felt like it was just phoning it in. I can't say the same about this. This was not as good as that by any means. And I'm not trying to like insult the people who worked on this. They probably worked very hard, but it's just like, this is just my opinion. I'm allowed to have and share my opinion just as anyone is. I don't know if people like really love this or not, but if they did, that's great. And I love that they loved it. I just didn't. You may have noticed I was very quiet during a lot of the reaction. I wasn't really saying much. Like, there were a lot of times where I was just saying okay, and it's like, because I didn't really have anything to comment on. I felt like I was kind of bored, if I'm being honest. It's like I wasn't getting it. It wasn't clicking with me. And maybe that is partially due to the setting and style, the 1920s Prohibition era. Maybe it's partially due to just the fact that it doesn't give time to actually tell us anything about these characters. Or the plot. Maybe it's a combination of. But whatever the case exactly is, like I said, it just, it didn't click with me. Oh, excuse me. Woo. At least I saw that coming. And I'm not going to say it was bad. I'm not going to say it was like outright bad or anything, because it wasn't. It's just, it didn't click with me. It didn't do anything for me. It wasn't outright bad. Believe me, if it was outright bad, I would have more to say on it. I feel like if it was outright bad, I would be like, you know, more vocal during the reaction. It's just... And why Canadian whiskey? Like, was that a thing back in Prohibition? Like, was that like a big, like, popular spirit back then? Because it's like, I've had some Canadian whiskey, and it's like, the Canadian whiskey I've had has always been the worst whiskey I've had. It's like, get the Kentucky shit. That's the good whiskey. Or, if you're partial to, you know, Scotch, there you go. But still, it's like, I'm partial to, like, the Kentucky shit. It's like, that's the good whiskey. Again, all the Canadian whiskey I've tried has been the worst. And the worst whiskey is still better than a lot of things, but still. It's just, why Canadian whiskey? Maybe it was better back then, I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, it's wild to me. Like, I just wasn't a fan of this. I couldn't get into it. I don't know what else to say. It's like, this clearly wasn't for me. And hell, maybe if they do, like, make a full series of this, like Hell of a Boss, maybe the full series will end up being better. Like Hell of a Boss. Because that series ended up being, like, pretty damn great. Kind of right off the bat, which surprised the shit out of me. It's like, oh, the pilot for this was bad? Well, let's check out the first episode. Oh, wait, this is actually really fucking good. What the hell? It's like... But this just doesn't carry that same, like, hope for me, exactly. I don't know. Maybe I could be proven wrong if a full series ever does come out for this. But right now, I don't really have the hope that it will. I'm not going to just assume that it's going to end up proving me wrong. If it does, cool. But I'm not going... I can't just assume. I have to go only based on what I've seen here. And was not a fan. Just honestly was not a fan. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of the pilot of Lackadaisy? Let me know down below, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.